As with the previous calls, if the client wants to use Billing Direct and they have not yet submitted the application, please follow up immediately at the top of this call. Billing Direct is one of the most important hooks in terms of client retention for our company, and therefore it is a priority. Set another timeline for them to send it in by end of business day to the success team. The third setup call should first begin with a check-in with the client to ensure they've completed their homework, any action items from the previous calls, such as adding classes to their calendar. You want to make sure that everything from their school schedule is on the calendar, and that they've added all their memberships, all their options for enrollment. And if they had not yet completed this, their programs and ranks. Make sure that everything has been added, all the details completed. Unless they have any lingering questions from the previous two sessions, you can proceed. Now, if their billing has gone live and they're ready to schedule billing, they're ready to sell memberships to students and get them scheduled and get everything in, then walk them through that process so they can see again how easy it is, and it will encourage them to get all their new enrollments in. And if they are coming from another billing company, then it will encourage them to start to make the transition of getting everybody in. Once you're ready to proceed, these are the areas you're going to cover. So if they're going to be using Perfect Mind to take attendance and they want to promote ranks and they want to track all of their exams, promotions, testing, etc., then the rank promotion feature is based on readiness, and also there's various ways of promoting students. So I have this particular student. They're in my adult karate program. And he's a white belt, and his next rank is yellow. And his ready date is April 24th, 2013. This is based on the criteria in settings for this particular rank and the progression method. So it's based on time and attendance. So his ready date is currently at this. As he continues to attend and as time goes by, this ready date will be updated. And Perfect Mind updates the readiness once a day. And the readiness options, of course, are not ready, almost ready, and ready. If they want to simply just promote students, well, they can do that from here by multi-selecting and then click promote. And then here they can promote ranks or stripes. They, of course, can also do it just from the students page. Down here under ranks, they can promote, or they could click on the rank itself and then click promote. Now, there's a view here called Student by Readiness. So as long as everything's in settings for programs and ranks and all that criteria is correct, the system will be updating the readiness automatically. So what they can then do is they can use this view and it will group it by the readiness level. So all their ready students will be together, their almost ready students will be together, not ready, etc. So they could then multi-select just from a group. If this, for instance, was ready, they could just multi-select anyone they need to promote and then click promote. Now, when it comes to exams and testing, they can add that as an exam to their calendar. So I've got mine it was this morning from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., my adult yellow belt testing. And I, of course, chose the calendar type as exam. And I'd like to book my students into the exam. Now, I can do it just like I do classes, where I can type their name and I can manually, book them in here. I can do it that way. But I can also use my student by readiness view. So I can select the students that I need to book for the exam. We'll pretend that these students are ready. Click schedule, and then double click on my exam. and they are now booked. And when they attend the exam, well, I can attend them right from the calendar, of course. So I can just attend them right here, and they are now attended. After the exam is complete, I can run the exam update, and that's up here in the global menu. I select exam update, and any exams that have taken place in the past will show here, and I can click on the exam, and my 2 students are here. Now, because they were booked and attended to this exam, the past exam column, they are automatically checked. So if I want to promote them from their current rank of white to their next rank, which is yellow, all I have to do is click confirm. And it will update records that they passed their exam. It will also promote them to the next rank. One of the other major and powerful applications in PerfectMind is the email app. Almost any business owner should have no reason why they wouldn't want to use this. Now, the email application can be used to send single emails or emails to just single contacts. But of course, and what's going to be most commonly used, they can use this to send mass emails. So if they have a newsletter that they send out, for instance, and they send it out once a month to their active students, they can click to, and there's already a list for active student list. And then in the body of the email, they can use the editor to dress up the email any way they like. And they can also personalize these emails for each recipient. So they can start to type their email, so hello as their greeting, and then they click on the tag here. And all the fields related to the object, that is the primary object for this email, will drop down. So they can scroll down and select first name, add a comma, and then they can type their email. And again, they can dress this up any way they like. And so be sure to walk them through this process, and also encourage them that if they ever wanted to send out attachments, you may get that question, well, I'd like to send out an updated schedule to all my students. Well, they can use the document manager. And they can then choose a folder that they would like to save this in, and maybe they want to create a new folder. And of course, they can just create a new folder here, maybe for schedules or newsletters. And then you can just upload the PDF, and you can upload it to the folder you select here, and then that will generate a link, and they can download the attachment from there. And the client may want to create their own email signature too. They may want to embed their logo, so they could use the image manager. And again, this is the same process. They can use the My Images folder, or they could create their own. They can upload a JPEG, or there's a few other image file formats they could use, like PNG or a TIFF, and they can upload their image and they can insert it, and then they can drag and drop it anywhere they want. So if they want to embed their logo at the bottom of the email, they can do that. So show them definitely how to use this application and use the editor. One of the other more powerful features is using the email application for automation. So maybe they want to set up an email that goes out to students when they are 14 days absent. Maybe they have a "We miss you" email that they'd like to send. So if they can think of any lists that they would like to generate, or you could make a suggestion, you could suggest that, would they like to have an email going out automatically to students once they're 14 days absent? So that's just one example. But if we wanted to create this list, then you can show them how the filtering works. And they can just bear in mind the logic of creating the filtering is based on exactly the type of group that would be receiving it. So if it's going to be just active students that would get it, well, then we want to add that as filter number 1. And once their last attended date is 14 days ago, well, there's a field for that, last attended. And it would be n days ago, and they can replace the n with a 14. And they can add this as filter number 2. And they could call it something like absent 14 days, or we miss you, and then save this. So now what they have is this particular group. And the subject line for something like this would probably have to be something that would catch their attention. And again, encourage them to always use merge fields, even when for automated emails. And again, they can type up the email and dress it up any way they like using the editor. Now, when it comes time to setting the automation, it's a simple question of, do they want this to go out just once when these settings or criteria, the criteria is met, or every time? So in a scenario like this, where a student has not attended in 14 days, do they want this email to go out every single time? And obviously the student may recognize that after the second or third time, they'll recognize that it's an automated email. But again, that's up to the business owner. So if they want it to go out just the one time, they could select this. And they just would have to remember to set the expire date far into the future. And select a day. And of course, the start date and time needs to be in the future. So if they wanted to activate this as of the next day, well, they could do it like this. And then when they click send, this will activate that auto email. Now, in addition to creating their own custom automated emails, it's extremely important to show them the automation section in settings. These automations are out of the box, ready to go, and almost all of them could be used by any school owner. Automations such as welcome new student. So when a student enrolls, they get a welcome letter. The welcome letter could contain a link to the school schedule, maybe some fitness tips, and just a general introduction on what to expect, maybe tips on such as how to tie a belt, things that would prepare the student for feeling welcome and settling into training. Martial arts can be intimidating for most new students if they've never done it before. A birthday letter that goes out on a contact's birthday, they can enable this, and it's really as easy, and convey this to the client, that it's really as easy as them either just enabling them and going with the content we've included, or they can click on the automation and then click on the email template, and they can update the content as they see fit. And other important automations include emails that go out automatically when payments have not been able to process. So once they're 1 day overdue, 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, etc., they can double check the content to see if this is something that they want going out, and that includes the subject line. And if they're comfortable with the content, well, then it's all turnkey. And also an automation for when a credit card has expired, it will notify the student, letting them know that the credit card needs to be updated for a new expiry date. These are valuable, and you can let the client know that these are automatic, so these will go out on their own. So once they enable them, they never have to worry about this again. This is a major benefit of using PerfectMind. Now, one area that you're going to want to cover are reports. And the key reports to review with them, and you don't necessarily have to review every single report, but review definitely the key reports, and that's the class report if they're taking attendance, 100%. Because with this report, they can attend students that are booked, and they can promote students to rank or to their next stripe. And this report will tell them who's due for stripes, and who's due for renewal, among other info. This is valuable for an owner as well as an instructor if they're on the mat. And again, this because this is web-based, they could load this report up on a tablet such as an iPad. So it makes them more mobile. The marketing reports, they can track emails that were sent, the email results, and how many customers and leads they're getting per campaign. So they can track the success of their marketing based on the leads and customers that they have acquired. The membership reports, they can look at a glance those memberships expiring in 60 days by limited or by punch pass, and they can see all their active memberships by status. In the money folder, the key reports to review, and this is definitely if they're using Billing Direct, the bank reconciliation report. So this report is based on settlement date for payments. So everything that processed using Billing Direct, using Perfect Mind. So this is handy for being able to match up all their transactions, and it's by batch, so they can match that up with their bank statement. The billing and payments report is valuable because it separates the revenue by membership, product, and other. It's adjustable for date range, and they can also filter it out by payment method if they like, or even by processor type. Credit cards expiring next month. EFTs in progress. So EFTs, because they take 7 business days to clear, this will show all those that are in progress. The forecast report. This will show scheduled invoices, and the date range is adjustable. So if they want to look at a glance how many scheduled invoices they have, say in the next 30 days or 90 days, this is their forecast report. Overdue are any invoices that are at least 1 day overdue. Profit and loss, this is if they're using the expenses section of money in the money menu. This will calculate profit and loss based on the expenses they've added versus the income that they have reported, or everything that's processed automatically through Perfect Mind. All sales that were taxable, and successful payments. This will group all their successful payments by payment method, so every single successful payment record, and it will group it by cash, check, credit card, and EFT. One area that you're going to want to review with them, time permitting, in this call, and that's forms. If they will not be using our services for websites, so they will not be getting a social site developed by our web team, and they have their own website, a third-party website, they can still integrate Perfect Mind with that website, and this will streamline their lead generation. And that's through creating forms. Going to settings, they would go to forms. And if they want to have a contact sign up or homepage sign up form, this is really just a page layout that is pre-selected. So this form will then be connected to contact, the contact object. Page layout is online form-simple, which is first name, last name, phone number, and email address. And then they can link it to a particular campaign. So if they want to generate a form and they want to embed it on their own website, and that form is below a promotion they have on that website, they can track all the leads they acquire from that form and from that promotion. So if they don't have that campaign already here, well, then they can simply just add it. They can give the form a name. This will appear directly above the form. And they can also edit, of course, the text that's on the submit button. And if they want to simplify the layout, this will place the field labels, such as the actual words, first name, last name, email, etc., directly inside the fields. It's a cleaner look for the form. They can choose the color theme they want for the form. If they just want it transparent because they've got a white background on their website, well, then they could select this. And then once they're ready, they can then copy the code and they can send that to their webmaster. Or if they update their own website, well, then they can simply paste in the code wherever they want on their page. It is HTML code, and then that will embed the form. Again, this is going to enforce tremendous value with Perfect Mind because every lead they receive from that is submitted through that form will go directly into the software, and the system, of course, can automatically notify them when they receive a new lead. So as long as they enable this automation, not only will they be getting leads from the form wherever it was embedded, but they'll be notified automatically as soon as that lead comes in. It's one of the most valuable areas that you can show them if they're not already getting a social site from Perfect Mind. Now, based on how much material you've covered by the end of this third setup call, will determine if a fourth should be booked and what you should cover. If there's still material that needs to be reviewed as you didn't have an opportunity to get to it, some sessions take longer or some training phases take longer than others, depends on the user or the client, then you can book a fourth session. This appointment should not have a duration longer than 60 minutes. Of course, if there's any homework from previous calls that are not yet completed, then reiterate those specific items that they are to complete. And included in either this call or in a fourth setup call, some areas that you can cover with them are editing or creating views, creating more email lists, maybe setting up more automations, some great features such as freezing memberships, and of course the ease of being able to manage memberships, being able to print receipts for particular invoices, being able to process or forfeit invoices right from the contact page, and being able to freeze a membership. This also works, of course, if a student wants to have their billing scheduled on a new day. So for instance, this student bills on the 25th of each month, but they actually want to push their payment date back to the 27th, maybe a little bit later. Well, they can do it by clicking freeze and choosing the resume date. If they want to bill on this day, then they get this message. Next invoice will resume on the 27th of February instead of the 25th. And all future invoices are scheduled to process on day 27 of each month. So once they do this, it will freeze the membership and delay the billing, and it will reschedule it for the day they selected for all scheduled invoices. This is a great feature. Another area that you can cover with them, whether it's in the third call or the fourth call, is utilizing money. And income, you can add manual income records, anything you didn't process or update in Perfect Mind, and you can use it for adding expenses. So they can add all their expenses here, and as they use Perfect Mind to process payments and update records with successful payments, and they add their expenses, this will automatically populate data in a profit and loss report. This is another area of the program they could utilize. As always, with any session, remind them of our extensive help center that is searchable and has topics with related subtopics on almost anything they would ever want to know. In addition to this, as you may be nearing the end of the initial training phase with this client, remind them of our support channels. And ongoing training can be accessed through our live training, which we provide 3 times per day. All they need is internet and audio, and they can ask any question that's related to training, and our trainers will answer them and show on their screen. And of course, support can be accessed by calling the toll-free number, emailing support, and we also have live chat support. If you feel you have successfully covered all the material and the client has a very, very strong understanding of this knowledge, ask them if they feel that they can successfully use Perfect Mind to manage their business, and if they feel that the initial setup and training phase is complete. If so, then you have reached a point where this work order can be closed, and our success team can assess, verify their usage, and based on this gold stamp, we can consider this a successfully closed work order, and this client is now set up.